Hi, this is Sally Morgan and Tristan Corgi for Conversations with a Corgi, number 14, where we're going to be talking about Bear TTouch. And yesterday, when it was 3:13, we were on our 13th episode, so there must be some good luck with that. Today we are having, now they're saying 18 to 24 inches of snow. It was going to be 12 to 18 here in western Massachusetts. So we're having a bit of a blizzard out there. So Tristan is modeling his winter sweater, which we won't be leaving on for the whole session because he will get really hot. But I just wanted to use this as a reminder to people how important it is to be responsible for your pets when the weather is really inclement outside. You cannot take a Chihuahua outside for a 1-hour walk when it's 10 degrees. The dogs have no hair, they are bred and raised to be in a warm climate, and they don't thrive outside in cold weather. So dog sweaters are really important. They aren't just cute. And in fact, on our local news yesterday, they were talking about some elderly people in Boston knitting sweaters for chickens. And they actually have found that chickens that are warmer are better layers in the winter, up to 50% more eggs than they would get without sweaters. So these senior citizens are meeting and knitting adorable sweaters that go over the chicken's head, and then they have sort of a bib in the front and over their backs with a big space for their wings. And the chickens seem really happy, and I was happy to hear that they're even letting the chickens kind of pick which color sweater they'd like to wear, which is something we do in Tellington TTouch work as well. We often ask the dog what color wrap he would like to wear and what color harness he might like, and that makes a big difference in how your animal responds. It's just like you have certain colors that you like and that you prefer to wear, and your dog is the same. So Tristan is sporting his manly sweater. It has a moose on it, and it has a turtleneck, and it covers him all the way back to his fuzz buns, which is great because being a Corgi, we don't always find sweaters that are long enough for them. And in fact, keeping the haunches warm if you're taking your dog out for a long walk in cold weather is really important. That's a lot of the big muscles that propel the body forward, and not allowing those muscles to stay warm is a big problem. Think about yourself going out to take a walk in shorts in weather like this, and you will find that you will have a lot of aches and cramps in your legs and your hip muscles if you don't keep yourself warm. So Tristan, would you like to take your sweater off now, because it is 70 in the house. There we go. His shoulder's still a little sore on the other side, so we're trying to take it easy on the little guy so that he can recover from his injuries. And the turtleneck. Here's his adorable sweater. It's very heavy. It's actually wool. He has several other ones that are just acrylic for a day when it's messy out. But being a Corgi, he's double coated, so he does not need to wear such a heavy, thick sweater as would a Bichon, a Poodle, a Cockapoo, any of the dogs with hair, and even a Labrador. Their coat is oily, and that helps keep them warm, but they are not double coated like Huskies and Malamutes and Corgis and German Shepherds. So today we're going to continue our discussion of circular TTouches. I'm Sally Morgan, physical therapist, craniosacral therapist, and Tellington TTouch practitioner for animals and people, and this is Tristan Corgi. I've had the pleasure of working with Linda Tellington for over 30 years. I think it's over 35 at this point, and I really love this work. It's a really great way to connect with your animal and provide health, wellness, connection, relaxation, and recovery from surgical and wounds and things like that you've had with your dog. So we've talked already about some of the other circular TTouches, the clouded leopard where you're using the flat parts at the ends of your fingers and your thumb, the lying leopard where you're using this part of your hand and the longer ends of your fingers, and your hand is less up in a paw and a little flatter, the abalone where all of this part of your hand is touching your animal, and you suction on with a pretty flat hand. And we've talked about the raccoon TTouch, where your fingers are close together and you're using the tips of your fingers. And we also talked about the tiger touch, where your hands are spread apart like a paw, and the interesting thing is all 4 fingers are doing a circle simultaneously. And again, this is something you need to practice. Your thumb is stabilizing. So today, the Bear Touch has something in common with a lot of these touches. The Bear Touch, your hands close together like with the raccoon, but you are really curving your fingers up to use your nails. So it's nice to have a medium length nail when you're doing this, because you are doing this touch with your nails. And then just the side of your thumb is touching, like when you were doing raccoon or clouded leopard. The Bear Touch is used for itching hot spots from fleas or skin allergies, and similar to the Tiger Touch that we talked about yesterday, it can be used in a variety of cases when you or your animal is very itchy from an insect bite or whatever. If you have a really serious hot spot somewhere on your dog, sometimes they'll start licking their haunches and develop a hot spot in the summer. It's a great idea to take a cool cloth and place it over the hot spot and then do your Bear Touches through the cloth around the area, never on the actual wound. The other thing we found about the Bear Touch is that it's really helpful to work over the loins and the back area here if your dog has kidney problems or if you suspect that your dog has kidney problems. And this would be something I would recommend for anyone with an older cat, as cats are prone to kidney problems, and anybody really with even a senior dog for the same reason, because it does improve kidney health to do this work around the area there. The kidneys are fairly close to the surface of the skin in that area. I mean, they're in there, but they're closer to the surface than some other organs. So you really can have an effect on them working on the outside of the body. So as I said, your fingernails are medium length because you're going to direct your fingertips straight down. So you have the raccoon, and then you're going to just curl in a little more to get your fingertips quite in with your fingernails. And your fingers are close together, and your thumb, again, is 2 or 3 inches apart. It's not close to the hand like it is with some of the other touches. Your animal should be able to feel your nails. With a thickly coated dog like him, you're going to have to use just a little bit more pressure to get in there to where you can feel the skin. And remember, as with our other TTouches, you're imagining the face of a clock starting at the 6 and moving your fingers around in a clockwise direction and around back to the 9. So you're doing a circle and a quarter. You want to emphasize contact with the nails rather than the pads of your fingers when you're doing this. So we'll just try some on Trystan here. He's not very itchy, really. But you never know. He hasn't had a bath in a while. And as you know, if you don't wash your hair for a long time, you get pretty itchy. He just like circles, don't you, Beth? And he might be itchy because he just pulled off a wool sweater. Let's do some back in the kidneys. Let's see how he's getting sort of a dreamy look on his face. He likes this. He's also looking out at the snow blowing off the roof of our house. We only have about 2 inches right now, and we're expected to get 20 to 24, so we won't be able to find the Corgi out there. Good boy. Now, I'll show you on my stuffed Corgi. He still has fingerprints in him from yesterday's touches. Let's smooth him out a little bit. So your fingers are going straight in, close together, with your thumb in a separate place, 2 or 3 inches away, and you're just using your nails and making a circle. Again, the middle finger is initiating the circle. And I have to apologize, with the camera being backwards and my animal not being next to me where I'm seeing him, it is very easy to go counterclockwise or to look counterclockwise to you. Not that that's a bad thing, but we tend to go in a clockwise circle. Let's do some up on his kidneys. So again, you're hoping that your nails are making contact with the animal. And as with everything we do with TTouch, your intention is part of it. And your intention is to have the cells remember their potential for perfection. And if you have a hot spot, you have cells that are not functioning at their highest level of perfection. So it's really important to keep that in mind when you're doing these touches. For this, you use a fairly light pressure. When you have fleas or skin allergies, you're using only a 2 to 3 pressure because the nail is penetrating into the skin area and giving relief, and it's pretty deep, and you don't want to poke too much with it. A hot spot, you might go a little bit deeper with a 4, and again around the area or through a cool cloth placed over the area where you have the hot spot. And for loin and back areas related to kidney issues that your dog might have, you want to go with a 3 to a 5 pressure. Now with a cat, it might be a lot less than that. And as a review, a 1 pressure is the lightest you can feel on your eyelid, so try that with your fingernail. It's a lot more sensitive there when it's your fingernail, so find that 1 pressure. The 3 is the most that's comfortable there. And that's pretty much the deepest that you'll go when you're doing this on your pet or your horse. Horses really like this touch, by the way, on their withers and on their back and at the base of their tail. And under their jaw here, you know, their jaw, the ramus of the jaw hangs down, and then they have this hollow here, which is really hard for them to scratch. It's a real pleasure for your horse for you to brush that area, or doing these Bear TTouches under there can really make your horse happy. And remember that pain and itching travel on the same nerve fibers in your body. So if your dog has an itchy spot, it could become painful if it becomes sufficiently irritated. Now my fingernails aren't terribly long on every finger because of the craniosacral work I do. I have to keep the middle 3 fairly short so that I don't poke my humans in the neck or my dogs when I'm doing occipital release. But I still have another fingernail or 2 that are long enough to make this really a bear touch. And then, as I explained earlier on, always after we do any amount of TTouches on our animal, we do what we call Noah's March, where we're reconnecting the animal down through his feet, through both sides of his body, his ears, his hind legs to connect him to the floor and the earth, and then his tail. And if you have a dog like mine without a tail, you connect with where the tail would be. And we'll talk more about tails when we do tail work. So, due to the weather, I am live this morning on Tuesday when I should be at my other job in my capacity as an educator, but because of the snow, that was called off today. So Wednesday and Thursday, I will be doing that job instead. So we will be live back on Friday morning at 8:25, where we will continue with our journey through many of the TTouches that you can use with your pet. I'm thinking that on Friday I will show you the chimp touch. It's not one that we use a lot with small animals, but it can be really useful for a big, heavily muscled dog like my niece's dog, who is in North Carolina, so we can't use her for a live demonstration. And then we will go on to some of the other aspects of TTouch throughout next week. So I would like to remind you to appreciate your dog every day. And I'll just show you another heart hug. So you cross your hands over your heart. You have the 6 here. The 9 is here. Take a deep breath in and go around the circle of the clock face. And back to the 9 as you exhale. And I often find if I have tension between my shoulder blades, these heart hugs really help release that. So if you happen to have to shovel today, this is a great thing to do. just to release your shoulder blades after you're shoveling. And we'll do a hard hug for Trystan. And as I've said before, I like to use these hard hugs to take a moment just to let my dog know why I love him, the things I appreciate about him, the things that I'm grateful for, his presence in my life. And today I'd also like to have a shout out to my friend who has a Corgi named Sharon Smaglick, who lives out in the Great Lakes region. She does beautiful jewelry. She made this necklace which has a picture of corgis looking out a cottage window. I believe it's a drawing by Tasha Tudor. And she recently sent me this beautiful bracelet which also has, you can hardly see it, it has pictures of Tasha Tudor's drawings of her corgis on it. And her dog Darby also sent us a special gift of bunny corgi Easter socks as a thank you for our friendship. And my mother had her 80th birthday, which you probably saw on my sister Dr. Judy Morgan's Facebook Live 2 weeks ago when I was also in New Jersey. And Shannon did a beautiful thing for my mom's birthday gift. She took a picture that I gave her of my sister and me when we were little children, like 3, holding our big stuffed animals on our laps and looking like, you know, kids that age that you can never get a picture from, like at any minute we can bolt or make a funny face. And so she made that photo into a necklace for my mom to remind her that she's not as old as she thinks she is, because it wasn't that long ago that she had these 2 little girls. And they're stuffed cats. Huge stuffed kitties we had at that time. I don't know where they came from. And we never had a cat in our childhood lives that wasn't at the barn. But thank you, Shannon, for the beautiful work you do. And if people are interested in her work, I will post something about it on this page after I post this so that you can locate her. And she does do commissions, and she does do other breeds of dogs besides corgis. And as I said, even pictures of small children. So thank you, Shannon, for the beautiful work you do and for the socks. Trystan loves them. He might want to make a toy out of the socks. Or maybe he just likes bunnies. I don't know. So if you're in the Northeast, stay warm today. Stay indoors. Don't hurt yourself shoveling the snow. It's actually fairly wet snow. It's not the light fluffy snow that they were predicting. When Trystan went out this morning, I actually had to dry him when he came in. Usually with the snow, you just wipe him off. And this is Sally Morgan, author of the book Dances of the Heart, Connecting with Animals, and Trystan Corgi, reminding you to love and appreciate your pets every day. And we'll be back with Conversations with a Corgi on Friday, as we're taking a couple of days off so that I can go pursue my work as an educator in another setting. Thank you so much.